What's going on, Knuckleheads? GKM Gaming here with another LEGO Legacies Unboxed video for you. Today we are back in the Custom Units series, and we are starting a new squad that we're going to be talking about, the Fantasy Squad. I'm building a little bit of a D&D party based off of some of the collectible minifigures that I found when I was looking on Bricklink the other day. And these are some minifigures that I wish I had them because they are so awesome. Fortunately, I don't technically own any of them, but hey, maybe I'll hop on there and buy them one day. So we're going to be looking at Felix the Dwarf first. And I want to get into the tags because there might be a little discrepancy of what some people think his tags should be. I went with Builder because I feel like these fantasy D&D type characters are very closely linked to Castle. They didn't give them the Castle tag though, and I'll talk about that in a second. I gave him the tank tag. I mean, he's a dwarf, he's tanky, he's all about eating shots and being cocky and stuff like that. Next, I gave him the collectible tag. Now, these are collectible minifigures from the collectible series. And some of you might be saying, well, that's fine. Why didn't you give them the collectible and the castle tag? Well, if you look at the game, all of the collectible minifigures only get the collectible tag because there's different tiers of tags that I notice. There's Builder Explorer, and every unit has one of those. And then there's unit types, so tank, support, attacker, healer, and every unit gets one of those. And then there's the sets that they're from. So if they're collectible, they can't be collectible in Castle. That tag just indicates where they come from within the LEGO series, not what theme they are necessarily, what they fit in. So they have to be classified as collectible, which is why units like Yuppie, Hiker, Fitness Instructor, all of them synergize with City, but they're not City units because really they are like technically City type units, but they don't have the City tag, so they don't get that City tag synergy, but they do synergize with people with the City tag, but they don't get it themselves. So I had to give them the collectible and not Castle. Then I created a new little sub tag for them as Fantasy, and I have a lot of cool other units I want to talk about building for Fantasy after we get past here. I actually want to do a whole Fantasy villains after I'm done with the heroes. But let me know in the comments if you like the idea of doing this like D&D type party or what you want to see next. I'm always willing to take suggestions, and even if I don't get to what you want to see right away, I will get to it eventually, I promise. If you drop something in the comments, I will do a custom unit for it. Do not worry. So when you look at his stats, a lot of HP, decent amount of attack, definitely not a weak attacker. Kind of reminds me a little bit of a Locust type, a little bit kind of like stat-wise Locust was where I based him off of. Not the fastest, I mean, he's a dwarf, he's got little legs. I give him a lot of grit, like an absurd amount of grit because, you know, he is a dwarf, so he does have a lot of resistances and high constitution and stuff like that. So let's get into it. And this is a Slayer dwarf, so it's not your typical armored dwarf either. And that's going to reflect in his skills. So he's got the Great Axe. You know, you need that Great Axe. It deals 120% damage and 40% bonus critical damage. So if he crits, he's doing 40% bonus damage on a crit. So basically, if he crits you, he's going to be hitting you really hard. First special, we got Dwarf Pride, and it's a special with a 3 cooldown. Gains taunt for 2 turns and has a 100% chance to gain attack up 2. Obviously, these units are being portrayed as if they're fully maxed out. So, you know, level 1, he'd probably have a 20% chance to gain attack up 1 or something like that. But the premise is, as he's taunting, he's bringing his attack up. He wants to battle. He doesn't just want to eat attacks to protect the team. No, he's eating attacks because he wants to be the one fighting. So that's why I figured it was fitting for a dwarf. He goes into like a little bit of a, you know, like a cocky raging type thing, and his attack goes up, and he's the one who's taking the attacks. Second special is Monster Slayer. It's a special with a 3 cooldown, deals 120 damage, so same amount of damage as the basic, but deals 100% more damage if the foe has a spooky tag. So basically, he is going to counter the bejeebies out of people with the spooky tag because he's a monster hunter, right? He's a slayer. He's somebody who's going to take those monsters down. And you might be thinking, wow, this is really powerful. He's doing over 200% damage if somebody has the spooky tag. But you know what? Honestly, somebody has to, because at some point they're going to be releasing Basil the Batlord, and they're going to have Willa be more accessible, and they're going to be impossible to take down. And I think this fantasy team right here could be something that counters a spooky team, and that's something I really wanted to build them for, because some of the castle units counter spooky a little bit, but not to the point that you can really stop them. My opinion, if Basil and Willa were more readily available and you ran them with the castle trio as is, unstoppable, utterly unstoppable, throwing into the Fright Night cart or Magisto's Tower. But that's besides the point. And his passive is Dwarven Ferocity. Felix has a 100% chance to gain Hardy at the start of a battle. So he just starts a battle with Hardy, which I thought was really cool. So you gotta knock him out twice, which it was something that I kind of took out of D&D a little bit, where they have ferocity, or like orcs have what's called orc ferocity. We'll do a little dwarven ferocity here, because dwarves are tough. And at the start of his turn, Felix has a 60% chance to gain debuff immunity. So dwarves also have stronger constitutions and fortitudes, and I figured that would be reflected in a chance to gain debuff immunity, so he's a little harder to debuff. Alright, so that's all I have for you today when we're looking at Felix. Please let me know in the comments what you think of this unit, if you think some of his abilities are a little overpowered, if you think he's somebody that you would be interested in playing, if he was a real unit, if this is a unit that you just want to see in the game anyway, just because it's cool. It doesn't exactly have to be built the way that I built it. Again, I don't work for Gameloft. I'm not a game designer here. I'm just putting what I would like to see these units do, because I just really would like to see units like this, and I thought that the dwarves are one of my favorite things in fantasy anyway. As always, please remember to smash that like button, hit that subscribe button, ding that bell for notifications, and do remember to knuckle up.
She blocked me on Instagram, Snapchat, I don't give a damn about that. I can see your face, still feel the same. I don't feel the need to forget.